Hello, everybody. I wanted to kind of take you through the system here on how we go from uLab to the Lux Creo direct print aligner system. Some of you are asking for the actual printing of aligners. Some people are wanting to go from uLab straight to the files that'll get you to the 4D20 system so you can start working with Lux Creo, start working with those cases. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through my workflow on how we start from the very beginning, set up the cases in uLab, what the settings are before we even set up the case, the output, and things of that nature. So let's dive right in. Some of this is going to be video, but I want to kind of talk you through it. On the settings side, what we're seeing right here is if you don't have this button, this aligner trimming machine button, you will have to ask uLab or your sales rep to turn that on for you. When you have it turned on, the no mounting frame that you have right there, it's fine. You can use uContour, you can use digital. I use the no mounting frame because sometimes when I want to print the models after I export for templates or something like that, having a flat base is much better. I sometimes with uContour, if I'm actually going to print a model, I'll have it break a little bit because there's a notch in the bottom. So that's the setting that you want to make sure you have is the aligner trimming machine setting. Looking at the uLab setup, first what I do is I use a shining system. Your Medit, your Iteros, your any type of machine you have, you're going to have a different way of bringing your STL file into your computer so that you can load it on uLab. So experienced uLab users, this part shouldn't be too terribly difficult. We're just using a way, I'm just showing how I bring the downloaded file in, extract it, put it into a base models folder so I can then open up uLab. So we're going to let this go for a little bit. Essentially, this is a case that I was working on. It's kind of a visualized treatment objective case where I'm going to have to move the teeth forward, create some space, distal to number 8 and 9, and we're just bringing it in. We go through the process itself. I have sped this up quite a bit to try to make it a little bit easier to digest, but for some people that are even new to uLab, seeing this process, I think, may help them see the whole process instead of maybe skipping over some steps. So if you are an experienced uLab person, if you have been using this since it started prior to COVID, some of this might be a little bit mundane to you, but this is an important part for a lot of people. So let's let that run for a moment. Once again, if you're not used to uLab, those colors that go on the teeth, it's an auto segmentation. It allows the teeth to just segment on their own. You can then go in and clean up little spots if it goes over into the gingiva, something like that. What I do now in a case like this, like I said, because it's a bit of a particular case, I'm setting it up, number one, so I can get the teeth in the proper position for veneers on 8 and 9 because those teeth are a little small. I'm also setting it up so I can then show the dentist, like, hey, patient came in today, we're setting the teeth up. This is where I anticipate treatment ending. That's where that 3D treatment letter comes in, being able to show the dentist exactly where we plan on taking the case, what we plan on setting everything up as, so that we can have that in a great position. Once again, this is a limited case. We're not fixing the overbite, things of that nature. We're getting the teeth in the proper position. This is a 68-year-old patient that really just wants to have a little bit straighter teeth, a little healthier bite. Her teeth were hitting right on the cingulum, right behind them. So we made some slight changes to help her. Now we come to the point where we look at the output. At this point now, we have everything ready. We have everything we're going to go. We have our stages at the bottom of the screen. Now we're going to go to the print screen. When we go to the print screen, we look at here, we have the align trimmer machine, just like we talked about in the global settings for uLab. That must be on there. You can double check to make sure you know where you are on that. You don't want no clicked. You want one of the first 3 clicked. You can also preview your trim line. Your trim line is here. You can see how it's designed. In the global settings, you can also set that trim line where you scallop, semi-scallop, things of that nature, how you want it. You can see I then did the output model once I had everything the way I wanted it. And now all the models are going to output onto your screen. Now, many of you experienced uLab persons, you may have already done this before. You've probably done this a lot, many times. And what this ends up helping you see now is because you chose the trim line, you're going to get a couple different types of files, and we'll go over those in just a moment. The STL file, as you can see, is just the 3D model file. The PTS file is the file that is accompanied with the STL that tells the system that for that particular model, for that particular STL, that is the trim line attached to it. And that part is very important. Once we get all the once all the files are exported, you can see that it goes to a wait for printing and a wait for cutting folder. To get it ready for LuxDesign, what I'm going to do is take all of the wait for printing, put them into wait. Essentially, all I'm doing here is just organizing everything. I need to organize that all the STL files for that case, Miss Helen, and all the PTS files for Miss Helen end up in the same folder. And you can see here we've got all of Helen's files right here. We're going to make a new folder. And in that new folder, we're going to drop all the .pts files, which are the trim line, essentially telling any outside, really designed to tell an outside trim machine that cuts the actual tray away from the teeth. In this situation, we're using that trim line to know exactly what that file is going to look like. So when we make our trays, our direct print trays, it's ready to go. Now we've opened LuxDesign. LuxDesign is, so now we have all the files, we have all the STL and all the PTS files in one folder under the patient's name. You can name it whatever you want. For me, it's easier to name the patient name. We're setting up a file under the fast track for LuxDesign. You can see here what I'm circling, there are no PTS files. So when you open that file, you won't see the PTS files, but they are attached to that STL. They just didn't show up when you're importing. You go to generate. Now the STL and PTS file, they're going to actually combine and you're going to have your trays made. This takes a little bit longer. You can walk away from this. You don't have to watch it. I did speed it up a little bit, but it doesn't really matter how long it takes, maybe 5 minutes or something. It depends on your computer, it depends on the speed. And once it's all done, once they're all generated, you're successfully there. You can see now we're back to the main screen. We're now going to go to LuxFlow. And LuxFlow, for those of you who are kind of maybe newer to the LuxCreo system, LuxDesign is where you create the LNX or the tray files. LuxFlow is where you go to organize them and send them to the printer. So we're going to do that next. So in LuxFlow, I want to ensure that I'm on DCA, that I've got the right membrane in the printer. And now straight from LuxDesign, I can go straight to LuxFlow, and all of those files that we just created will drop right into the LuxFlow system. I go and I choose 70 degrees. For my support, you can do 45. I choose 70. Now all of the files will now be on the platform for LuxFlow. And sometimes it takes a few moments. What it's doing right now is it's generating the supports, getting it ready, putting it in the proper position on the print platform so that you can send it to the printer. Voila, we have all the supports, we have all the things we need, we have all of Miss Helen's files ready, we have all 10. We have all 12 ready for her to go. Now what I'm doing is something that LuxCreo is working on. They may already have it out now, where you can, I go in and just quickly label them. I can just choose on the left, I can see the number, upper and lower. On the label, I went to the first piece, you saw that in the video, and I just quickly label. I know that LuxCreo is coming up with a way that we can do this inside LuxDesign, and I know they're very close to having this automated. So the step that you're seeing now, more than likely in a month, won't even be needed. And this is October of 2024, so more than likely by the beginning of 25, depending on when you're absorbing this video, you won't even be doing what I'm doing right there. We go to slice, we can see that we're verifying the DCA for the slice. Slice just builds the layer just like any 3D printing on any platform. Then it's ready to go. Everything's sliced, it's prepared. Now you can upload it to the printer. Same as just about anything else, splints, models, whatever you're using. I usually label it name, arches, and the type. So when I'm looking at it on the printer screen, I can easily pick out and make sure I have the right resin, because sometimes we upload many different items and we just want to have a double check that we have the right resin in there for the thing that we're about to click on. You can see that it's transmitted, it's prepared, and now it's at the printer. At this point, you should have a sign on your printer, on your LuxCreo printer, that says everything's uploaded, ready to go. Go to printing, go to the back area if you need to, find the file, ensure the resin is there, ensure your build platform is on tight and clean, make sure that your resin membrane and tank is locked in, is really secure in there, and you're ready to go. And in about an hour and 20 minutes, you should have your direct print aligners. If you have any questions at all, always feel free to reach out to me. My name's Bill Layman, Dr. Bill at suortho.com, or if you ask Voxel, LuxCreo, or uLab, I'm happy to help you in any way I can. Thank you.